Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Coach Dad Podcast.
Well done, Austin.
So here we are, back again for Season 2 of the Coach Dad Podcast. The very first episode, I am going to have a look back over the summer and have a little look back at sort of what I've been up to with my boys, and we had a couple of award ceremonies in there for both of them. I also had a load of pre-season friendlies. That brings me right up to date, right to now, right up to when this is going to be released. So I'm going to have a look at all that, and I'm going to have a little look at sort of how pre-season planning has gone and where we're at with it, and sort of the expectations, and looking forward to the new season, which is only a couple of weekends away now. So yeah, loads to look at, loads to go over. Excited to get back into this again. A little bit has changed in the dynamic at home, where the wife has now come away from working in hospitality. So instead of having her evening sort of away working 3 or 4 nights a week and me being by myself. So we now have a lot of time together. It helps with the weekends and stuff like that. I've talked about family dynamic, where I have to drag the kids along to games and bits and bobs while she's at work. Well, not anymore. She doesn't work weekends anymore. She now works in the nursery where my little girl goes. So we're a normal 9 to 5 family. Weekends are clear now. So just a big help with football and stuff like that. I haven't got to drag them all about. It helps me concentrate and, get a little bit more involved with both of them. And I haven't got to sort of, especially on a Sunday where I have to drag my little girl to the football games. I haven't got to do that anymore. So it's all good stuff. It's, dynamic of everything is working out. But what that means is the regular night that I used to record this, which used to be a Thursday night, I think. Yeah, and I used to edit on a Friday and then get this out to you all on a Saturday. Well, that's now going to change somewhat. I've got to figure out a sort of new pattern and stuff like that. Like I say, because I've got the evenings now with my wife, we're out doing family stuff and, we're family meals and going out doing stuff and planning and that, and just it's all new to us. So I'll schedule this in once a week, and I've just got to find a little window to do it. But yeah, so going to be back up and running now. I might just do a little bit of a comeback episode. There probably a week off because I am away next week with my wife, the family. We're going away to Mallorca for a week, so got that to look forward to, sort of end of the school holidays. So we are going to miss sort of a week of training and a game, and not a game, but where I could have scheduled in a game, and then when I come back, it's straight into next season. So yes, so here we go. It's now Season 2, Episode 1 of the Coach Dad Podcast. So yes, as I just alluded to, it's now Season 2. I am going to have a look back now over the summer, and it's normally, this week's football news, but it's, last 2 months football news. So let's get into that.
This week's football news.
So when Season 1 came to an end and I signed off for the summer, just on the horizon, I had my boys' football ceremonies sort of just coming up. So I'm now going to get into a little bit about those and football ceremonies, and yeah, just how they went, and they both went sort of very well. But first is Caleb's. Now Caleb's was quite a traditional presentation day, whereas there was a couple of age groups put together, because obviously a lot of clubs now are quite big, so if they had all the teams there on one day and it's a small venue, they're going to struggle. So it was a couple of age groups together. I believe they staggered all the teams over sort of the weeks throughout the summer, and it was at the social club where he plays, Watlington Social Club, for the team he plays for is at Watlington. And yeah, it was a traditional day. We turned up, sort of burger van there, bouncy castle. The day started with a game of mixed teams together, and the parents could get involved and stuff like that, and then it all settled down for the awards. The younger teams went first, and then Caleb's team was up last, and he actually bagged one of the big awards. It's called the Spirit Award. It's for never giving up, always trying to lead by example. So yeah, we was well chuffed. Weren't expecting any awards for him, to be fair. I don't think even he was. So when he got called out, we sort of well made up, nice big trophy. So well happy he came away with that, and he obviously got his traditional sort of medals you get now for being part of the squad. And yeah, he's sort of well buzzing with that, and that's sort of kicked him on a little bit. And I'll just sort of run through with Caleb what we've got up to in the summer with him. Unfortunately, he's got this condition that has just sort of started to appear with his knee. There is a professional name for it, we've got it seen to and stuff like that, but it's essentially he's had a growth spurt and the bones have outgrown his muscles at the minute, so he's got a bit of a lump on his knee. And he can play a full session, do a full training session, he can do a full game, but then after he's sort of on the come down and that he sort of struggles with sort of putting any weight on that leg. It's only on one leg, so we have to put ice packet and, you know, rice, rest, ice, compression, elevation. And yeah, it's just something he's got to bear with until his muscles catches up. But yeah, he's still sort of able to play, and he's put in a lot of work in pre-season, been working on a lot. And yeah, it's been going really well for him. His pre-season, he's played one game, one 11-side game. I think his squad, because they've gone up to 11-a-side under 13s, really struggling for numbers. I think they're right on the cusp at the minute. But in their first game, they played 4 at the back, 1 CDM, a couple sitting in the middle, 1 left right winger, and then 1 through the middle. And did really well. He started off at the base of the CDM, and they played a team called Kingsland Soccer Club. They got a couple of teams, and they pretty much blew him away, to be fair, with the pace they had up front. 2 or 3 nippy little ones, and they were well good with their pace. So yeah, they done really well. And then he played the second half at right back. And he's doing all right. We've been putting in a lot of practice, a lot of striking of the ball, moving, passing and stuff like that. So yeah, we sort of once a week down at the field, take the bag of balls and away we go. But yeah, he's doing really well for it, and I'm hoping he's going to hit the ground running this season. His team are now in one big league, I believe. There was talk that it was going to be split into a couple of small leagues. There is only 14 teams, I believe, or 16 teams. So they're in one big league this season, and going to see how they go. Hopefully they're going to do all right. But yeah, that's sort of Caleb's summer in a sort of a small sort of little nutshell. And then let's move on to my team. So yeah, my presentation day with my club Sholdon was a little bit different. We had all players and all teams represented in one day. We had a massive Euros tournament. It was the day before England played in the European Championship final, and yeah, it was a cracking day, to be fair. It started off, first half was football, and then it turned into a bit of a party and a disco and a drink. And you know, at night time you could camp, you could stay there was bars and hot food and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's a bit of a good day, and yeah, it went swimmingly, to be fair. And I gave all my awards out, gave a bit of a speech and gave all my awards out to the players I thought deserved them the most, and they all went away happy. I mocked up, as I've sort of talked about before, a little team photo of them all, and then I sort of adapted it a little bit to the winners, so it had just them and what award they won, and then the picture of their team in the background. And a little bit of a shock. We were sitting there sort of waiting for the final awards to be done, and Austin actually bagged Club Player of the Year. Now, something obviously we didn't know about, but the reason he got it was for always trying his hardest, and he got it for always trying his hardest, and then he's always there helping out before and after games and training and stuff like that. So he got nominated for that, and he won Club Player of the Year. Now what he got for that was he got a big trophy. He then got his team trophy. He also got a framed award saying Club Player of the Year and a certificate in that. In the clubhouse there's a massive shield, and it has for the last 10-15 years or whatever, it's got all the little shields and badges on it of the person who won it, and you get a replica of that. So he ended up coming away with like 4 trophies. One of them still hasn't left his side. He sort of keeps it tucked under his bed and takes it to school to show his friends and all stuff like that. So yeah, well chuffed with that, and it was a great day. So yeah, everyone went away happy. I believe the right people in my team won the awards, and we go away happy and had a great day. So yeah, once that was done, I then sort of all tensions were focused on pre-season and what I was going to do. So yeah, little sort of tidbits for coaches and stuff out there, sort of a little bit of advice if you follow this, and this is what I did, and I think it's worked out fairly well. But obviously I didn't get a pre-season last season. I sort of rocked up mid-August, leg in a plaster, had no pre-season games and jumped straight into a season with a squad of 6 players. So I had no sort of prep, no planning, where, as I've talked about, I did my sort of, I call it transfer business, but I got all my squads sorted fairly early on. So I knew where I was at, sort of 12 players, 12/13, with some sort of, most of them yes, a couple of them unsure about. So even if my 13 turns into 11, I'm going to be all right, or 2 or 3 drop out, I'm still going to be fine, and I'll be scrambling for numbers. So I got that sort of done and dusted. And then what I did was I then went out to sort of the local Facebook groups. We're in the WhatsApp groups with the managers. I had these dates, and I put up on a poster that I mocked up sort of East Anglian tour, and I put the dates were available and we can play home or away, and I just sort of put it out there. I had loads of people approach me. I also wanted to play some teams from a different league, so we had some teams approach us from the league next to us, and so I scheduled in some games against teams like that. So what I did then was, and it's happened both ways, I scheduled them in sort of end of July and then for all of August, and then put some polls up for who was availability, because summer holidays, people are away. And I'll be honest, it's been a struggle sort of both ways with my own team and the opposition, where we've sort of struggled to get numbers, and we've sort of had to come to some agreements where we'll only do sort of 6 or 7 aside, or we'll borrow a player from here or there, or most of the teams around these ways have got 2 or 3 teams, so we borrow a few players and stuff like that, and it's just to get the kids playing football really. So we've done a little bit of that, a bit of hook and crook. So I set up all my games, and I'll get into a little bit about the games now. The games have been absolutely fantastic. Like I said, last season was last season. We struggled, new team, 5-a-side, weren't keen on it towards the end. I didn't see no benefit in it, and I was so keen to crack on with some 7v7 games, and we've done some end of season friendlies where we were fairly, we did all right. So then we started our sort of pre-season calendar 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm just trying to rack my brain. Hang on. So just looking at my spreadsheet, we played Dersingham Rovers. Now, Dersingham Rovers were a team in our league last season, but they have now moved across to the Norfolk Combined Youth League. But in the wake, they have started a new team to remain in our league as well, of new players and a few players who didn't want to do the travelling, because there's a lot more travelling, like I've explained before. So, we played essentially what was a newish team, but with some good players in it as well, and we had a fantastic game. The result was 6-4, so absolutely fantastic. Like, I know I'm not meant to mention scores, but these are pre-season friendlies. I'm just going to tell you what the scores were and how we're doing. But so we went down 6-4, tight game for us, very close, especially for a team who absolutely annihilated us last season. So we were happy with that, and it was a fantastic game. And that is something I've noticed. I've kept training going all the way through the summer. So I mean, most sessions I've got expectations of having 13 players, but most sessions have been some have been 5 or 6 or 9 or 10. Like I say, I got a couple playing cricket, but we've kept going, and I've seen the signs. I'm positive, better things are coming this season, and I could see that in our first game, because we've done a lot of attention to detail on 7v7. We played a load of 7v7 friendlies at the end of last season. We look good, I think. Like, we've got our defence sorted. We've now got a dedicated goalkeeper. I put it out to the parents, and I've got a young lad who said he wants to go in goal, and I'm quite glad he does, because he's really good in goal. The proviso is that if he wants to come out in the second half, he can play where he wants, which I'm happy for. So, but I can sort of try and convince him to stay in the whole game, or if someone, because what kids are like, they all want to have a go at everywhere, striker in goal. But I've now pretty much got a dedicated goalkeeper, and he had a fantastic game as well. So we're sort of up and running on getting the right players. You should be playing players in all positions, which I still do, but I've always said that the only position that you really want to be nailing down at this age is goalkeeper, I believe. And now I'm sort of starting to get that covered, and it's starting to reap the rewards where all the lads are playing in different positions, but they're getting it now. They're finally getting it. We're starting to click, and the experience of last year is now showing through. And it did against Dersingham. Like I say, it was a really tight game, and it gave me sort of food for thought, and it gave us a lot of hope, to be fair. And then after that game, let me go back to the spreadsheet again. We played a team called AFC Lynn, and I'm not going to sort of get too much into detail of this, but this one turned a little bit ugly and not very nice. But essentially, the game was, let me just rack my brain, we went 3 or 4-0 down, 3-0 down, perhaps at half time. And then it was, with about 10 minutes to go, the boys just showed up and they, got 2 or 3 back. And I think we were at 4-3, 3 or 4 minutes to go. The new kicking rule, so they kicked the ball in and the goalkeeper touched it and it went in, so 5-3 to those. 2 minutes to go, we score again, we score a free kick, 5-4, and then with the last attack of the game, we get a free kick on the edge of the box, we fire it in, there's a scramble, one of our players has a shot and it just goes wide, and unfortunately that's full time, lost 5-4. The opposition players were sticking fingers up at our players, laughing and stuff like that, and getting a bit of aggro from parents and stuff like that, which, I believe, and I said to my parents, the more competitive we become, I believe the more of this we're going to get, because, you can look at a fixture list. I think a lot of people look at a fixture list and go, it's just Sholdham goals. Yeah, we beat them 15-0 last year. And then we turn up now and we're starting to play, we're starting to dig in, we're starting to, become competitive, and it irks people. We're not the team that you can put your little lad up front against who's never scored a goal and score and get a hat trick and all the rest of it, and he got 7 today. We're not about that anymore. Like I say, we are there for the fun. We still, as I give you these results, hadn't won a game, but the results are there, they're coming down. We were a kick away, 1 kick away from drawing a game. I think we're going to come up against more sort of negative stuff from opposition parents, the decisions that were, it's okay, they're 14-0 down, they can have that free kick. Now when it's 5-4 and that free kick's given, that was never a free kick, and all that type of stuff, which is sad really, like I say, but I'm quite glad it rubs people up the wrong way, because it means we're doing the right things, we're progressing. But yeah, that game was 5-4, and on another day it could have been we could have got the draw, the result, or even the win, but it's just how it goes. And then let me have a quick look, and then just a mere sort of 2 weeks ago, we played another team called Outwell Swifts. We had played them in a 7v7 game at the end of last season. I think we lost 9-1, and again went into this game with a bit of hope off the back of a couple of tight games where we'd scored 4 goals in both, conceded 5 and 6 in them, but they were close games for us. So the optimism was there, I think, amongst parents and especially players and myself, that we might do something in this game. And again, we got off to a great start. I believe we went 1-0 up, and then they might have pegged us back 2-1. Austin then scored a goal, so he got his first goal of the season or pre-season, 2-2. Then they scored to make it 3-2 quite late on. And I think the goals came from sort of our own sort of trying to play out from the back, not the goalkeeper who wants to go in goal, but a different goalkeeper. And it just didn't sort of, rubber the green, didn't come off. And again, we lost that game 3-2. So we're talking really tight now. Austin actually got sent off in that game for, sort of sent off, I say. The ref sort of sent him off because him and another player were sort of marking each other and all hands over each other, and ended up sort of tumbling to the floor and pushing each other. So ref sort of said, no, off you go. I don't give refs no jipping games. That's sort of a rule, and us players don't. If I hear my player going, but that's a free kick, I said, no, just play on. The ref's not giving it this, just move on, because we don't do it. And that was quite a young lad. I think he was 14 or 15 ref in this game. And he did have a bit of a shocker. I think he was looking for sort of whoever called for it might have got it type of thing. But we gave him that breathing space. We gave him that chance to make them mistakes and learn. I did not challenge anything after the game. I mean, he gave a penalty essentially, but it didn't matter because our little goalkeeper saved it anyway. But it was never a penalty. It was just 2 people running into each other. Because I think because someone shouted for it, he gave it. But but I never sort of said anything. I went over to him at the end to say, well done, tough game, to sort of, it's a tough game, but you did really well. But we lost that one 3-2. So again, ever such a tight result. But again, 7v7 results are coming down and getting closer all the time. And then the weekend just gone, we had a game against a team called Necton. Now, Austin, when he played for Swaffham, his first ever game of football was against Necton. So it must have been against sort of a version of this team, and it was a close game, I think, that day. I can't even remember what the score was, but I'm sure I've got it written down in a record book somewhere. But yes, we played Necton at home, and it happened. We finally got a win. So there it is. It was only pre-season friendly, and it was a great game, but we got a win, so we're going to take it. And we won 4-2. The game got off to a good little start. I think we went 3-0 up. We were 2-0 up at half time. We went 3-0 up after the break. We then conceded a couple of goals, and then I made a bit of a change. I sort of sheared it up at the back, and then we went and sort of killed it off pretty late on 4-2 and just sort of run the time out, and I think we could have had a few more, but yeah, it ended up being quite comfortable in the end. So there it was, our sort of first ever victory. Lads were absolutely ecstatic. We had a little lad who played all last season as well, and he had not scored and not come close to scoring a goal, and he got a goal. Austin almost scored a goal as well, and then he made it 2-2. But yeah, it was a great result. The lads went away happy and buzzing. So yeah, that sort of brings me back up, that brings me right up to date with pre-season and where we're at. We had a fantastic run of games where we lost by 1 goal in 2 of them, lost by two goals in 1 of them, and we've gone on and won a game, so it's all looking positive. My squad has sort of taken shape. I unfortunately had a message today from one of the parents, one of the lads who's quite a good little player, but he's been away playing cricket all summer, and he just wants to move to train only, and he just don't want to play games at the minute, so we're going to see how that goes. So I think that leaves me with 11 players at the minute. I had with the comings and goings over the season. So I've got 11 players as I go into the season. I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to work with that, and we're going to, go about our business. And even though we got the win, we are going to try our hardest to get a league win. That's the next box we want to tick. I said to my parents, that win's a win, but as a friendly, we'll leave it as that. Happy for it, but let's go into the league and let's win what we sort of, I know it's non-competitive football, but let's try and win a fixture against a team in our league and get a few more if we can, because we're not about that sort of being the whipping boy team anymore. Now on to our league. So I talked a little bit about Caleb's league earlier, the sort of Mid Norfolk Youth League. Now our league, again, the rumour was they were going to do one massive league and they were just going to be sort of fixtures at random, and then you'd end up getting put into sort of a mini league after Christmas, but I think there's a lot of pushback and negativity about that. So what they did was they split the teams into 3 leagues based on what they gauge as ability. So we're in the bottom league, and I look around at the teams we got, and fair crack, they're the teams we had the most competitive games against last season. So we're sort of hopeful, I think we're in 8 or 9 team league, and hopeful that we're going to go out there and get some wins this season. That's the ultimate goal really, and see some real progression. And I'm really sort of happy where we're at the moment. We've got a game coming up on Saturday against Terrington. We've played them numerous times. They're the team we had 4-2 against. Then we played them at the end of last season, a 7v7, and I think they beat us quite handsomely in the end. But again, there was shoots there of certain things. So I think we're up and running now, and we're going to hit the ground running hopefully. In our first game, the fixtures have changed already. We did have Wisbech Acorns, who we've had some really competitive games against as well, but it's now changed to Leverington, and there's a couple of Leverington teams. I believe this Leverington team are the team we had a game, I think it was 5-2 against, and we had some bother with their parents, but looking forward to that one as well. So that should be our opening fixture against Leverington, and they play on a 3G pitch. So yeah, just looking forward to the season starting. So yeah, that's my sort of summer and where I'm at with both my boys and their football at the minute. So it's all looking good, all looking rosy, and yeah, can't wait for things to kick off in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. It's just a short, sweet little filler just to give you a quick update. For the season coming, I am going to do interviews with my boys pretty much before and after games, just to get their thoughts on their performance and how they're feeling about what has happened, or what they're going to do, or what they think is going to happen. So yeah, I want to get a little bit, sort of make it a bit more topical, and yeah, I am going to work hard on getting some guests on and talk to people. That's really where I want to get this sort of podcast in the future and over the coming sort of next few months in the season, and just see where it goes and see where it takes us. So yes, thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 1 of season 2 of the Coach Dad podcast. Like I say, this episode is just sort of a little bit of a refresher, a little bit of an update. There's no sort of topical stuff in there like I've been going over, but I'll get to that over the coming weeks. Next week there will most likely not be an episode because I am away in Spain. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that, and then the week after I'm back, it's the kickoff, the season starts. So I'm going to hit the ground running. We're going to have topics galore. There's going to be loads to talk about, loads of interviews and stuff like that, and let's get this thing rocking. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening. I've been Ben, and this has been the Coach Dad podcast. Thanks for listening.